Tonight, 70-year-old Professor Gervais Mendoza spent his first night at the Kondengi Maximum Prison in the nation's capital, Yaoundé. He's been detained for mismanaging funds during his tenure as general manager of the Cameroon Radio Television (CRTV). And team coach Volker Finke has said that he is certain that the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon would overcome the Democratic Republic of Congo come Saturday. He was speaking during a press conference which took place in Yaoundé today. These are headlines. Details in a moment. Good evening, viewers. Welcome to join us in this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinox Television. Today makes it 24 hours after the arrest and detention of Professor Gervais Mendoza. The former general manager of the Cameroon Radio Television (CRTV) was first heard at the Special Criminal Court still in the nation's capital, Yaoundé, yesterday before being remanded for mismanagement. Roland Akong has the details.
Professor Gervais Mendoza was arrested Wednesday morning at his Lonkak residence by judicial police officers of the Special Criminal Court in Yaoundé. After several hours of interrogation by an examining magistrate of the Special Criminal Court, the former GM of the Cameroon Radio and Television Corporation was allegedly charged with the embezzlement of state funds during his tenure as general manager of CRTV. It should be recalled that in 2009, the Budget and Finance Disciplinary Committee of the Supreme State Audit reported that Mendoza mismanaged the sum of 2.6 billion francs CFA during his tenure as GM of CRTV from 1988 to 2005. Professor Gervais Mendoza, a linguist and former minister delegate at the Ministry of Communication, was remanded into custody at the Yaoundé Central Prison Kondengi at 11 p.m. with 3 other senior staff of the Ministry of Finance.
And talking about the Supreme State Audit, some current as well as former state officials here in Cameroon have been indicted by the state institution for mismanagement, many of whom are still going about their daily activities freely. Some of them would have to pay damages while the files of others are still being examined. For Hansin Chanji has the details.
The Supreme State Audit has since its creation sent hot sweat running down the spines of public administrative officials, with cases of corruption, embezzlement, and mismanagement of public funds being the major findings of this body. Names of public figures have been cited, some already imprisoned. But a good number of those indicted are still moving freely in town. The Supreme State Audit argues that it is better to take what has been stolen to replenish state coffers. Observers have, however, argued that the body at times asks the reimbursement that is less than what has been stolen or mismanaged. A part of Professor Gervais Mendoza and others who are behind bars, other officials have been asked to pay mismanagement damages. Whether they will later be imprisoned or not remains a secret to the body. Professor Jean Tabi Manga, former rector of the University of Yaoundé II in Soir, has also fallen in the dragnet of the body, including the Dean of the Faculty of Sciences in same institution, Emmanuel Bakoli. Professor Bruno Bekolo Egbe, former rector of the University of Douala, was also visited by the Supreme State Audit. The former Director General of Public Contracts Regulatory Board, Jean-Jacques Ndodumu, will also have to pay millions of francs CFA to save his head due to mismanagement and corruption. The Supreme State Audit has also extended its hammer to the periphery. The GCE Board Registrar Humphrey Ekema Monono was also interrogated for mismanagement by the Budget and Disciplinary Committee. Former government delegates to Kumba and Libe Urban Councils, Kevin Nokombele and Samuel Lifada, regional delegates of economy for the Northwest, and Adamawa, Ngwang Raphael and Abubakar respectively. The former South regional delegate of public works, Efua Fono Theodore. The list is long. The Supreme State Audit has dealt with many cases, and the wish of many is that their work in the periphery should also be extended to the police, the military, and the judiciary.
Some of the cases on the table of the Supreme State audit pending examination. Now, scores of female students at College Evangelique in New Bell, a locality in the Douala II municipality, are being attended to at the Lakentini Hospital here in the economic capital Douala after they went unconscious. The exact cause of the incident, as you tell us, Veronica Aji, remains unknown.
On board these motorbikes, taxis and ambulance are students of College Evangile in New Bell who went unconscious early November 13. Most of the victims are girls and students. Some teachers and some curious onlookers cannot explain what happened to them. This student is explaining that many of his classmates fell at the same time when they were receiving lessons. Some are speculating that the tragedy may be linked to a missing phone belonging to one of the students.
Report there by Veronica Aji. Our sincere apologies. We surely shall be coming back to that in a subsequent newscast. Now, several traders at the Douala Central Market who owned shops beside the area that was affected by the 2009 fire outbreak were stranded today after their shops were destroyed by some yet to be identified individuals. They returned to the area to re-establish their businesses after the government failed to construct sheds for them after the 2009 incident. They say that they were surprised to have arrived in market today only to discover that the structures that they had single-handedly rehabilitated were destroyed. They are pointing fingers at the Douala City Council. They accuse the council of obliging them to pay over 1 million francs CFA before owning a shop in the market. We'll keep you updated as soon as we are informed. Now, several reunification projects in the southwest region of the country that were uncompleted before the visit of the President of the Republic of Cameroon have simply been abandoned. One of them is the reunification amphitheater, where contractors left the site shortly after the February 2014 event. Amadou Tutu-Mona, during a tour in the southwest regional headquarters of Boya, attributed the delay to financial constraints. Details with Derek Jato.
The Cameroon Culture Minister is in Boya to visit some structures directly under her ministry. From the reunification monument, Minister Amadou Tutu-Mona went to Bismarck Fountain, the Boya archives, before descending to the site of the reunification amphitheater, today serving, critics say, as a safe haven for hoodlums. Minister Amadou Tutu-Mona said it was because of insufficient funds that this amphitheater is left this disgraceful. From Boya to the slave village in Bimbia, the culture minister was accompanied by the U.S. ambassador to Cameroon, Mr. Michael Hoza.
But for Americans specifically, speaking as the U.S. ambassador, for many, many Americans who can trace their origins back to Cameroon, this site is critical for them. And
these today Americans are tracing their route.
And we have a responsibility to teach it to our younger generation so that they understand from whence they came and be grateful for where we are.
And as they go back, with them is the filial emotions of belonging.
I just thank God I'm having this opportunity. Because of them, I live.
And here was the gateway of their forefathers to an unknown destination as slaves.
That is the tour of Cameroon's culture minister in the southwest region of the country. Now, scores of persons accused of cultivating and consuming marijuana in Tombel, who remain in the southwest region of the country, are under police custody. The divisional officer for Tombel admitted that this phenomenon has gained grounds in that locality of the southwest region of Cameroon. Derek Jato went out to investigate. He tells us more.
These two men, Zong Wilfred and Yawa David, under custody at the Tombel Gendarmerie Station, are drug dealers. They sell and consume marijuana.
Yes, after the marijuana, we go behind the
Mr. Takon Edward, divisional officer for Tomel, says marijuana traffic has totally clouded his subdivision.
The situation here is serious. Personally, I've observed that the youths, the old, they smoke, they think. You know, it's like a kind of habit.
From his findings, Mr. Golori Omaru, the commander of the Tombel Gendarmerie Brigade, the drug is not cultivated in this valley subdivision.
Non, le culture pas ça ici à Tombel. Il part, ça vient du nord-ouest, ça vient du nord-ouest.
And Zong and Yawa, the two marijuana dealers, exclusively revealed to Equinox TV their sales point. And this is the sales center in Loom, and Equinox TV is here not to investigatively do someone's assignment, but to show to the power that be, the place, Zong Wilfred and Yawa David said it is the marijuana trade center.
Now, Senator Francis Kwine began his journey to eternity today in the nation's capital, Yaoundé. His corpse was removed from the Yaoundé Central Hospital today and taken to Minor Basilica and then to the Senate. The senator, who died late last month of October 2014, will be laid to rest this Saturday at his Njini community village in the northwest region of the country. And as senators began meeting for the November parliamentary session in the nation's capital, Yaoundé, today, they took a minute of silence in honor of late Senator Francis Kwine. Roland Akon caught up with some of the senators. This is what they had to say.
The Honorable Kwine was a pillar in this Senate. It is a bit difficult beginning the session without him, but all the same we have to take courage and move forward. We lost a man, we lost an icon, especially as he sat so close to me. Each time they will throw a word, and which word was very useful in building our capacities and building a new house.
It is quite a big loss to the Northwest region because the Senator Francis Kwine has been a pillar of the politics of the Northwest, and he's gone. And I want to say that the Northwest region is going to have it quite difficult to have a replacement. But by the grace of God, when one door closes, another one will be opened.
It is sad indeed that we've had to lose a second senator in the person of late Honorable Francis Kwine, but that's the way life is. We will give him the last honor, and honor to all other personalities who passed away.
Senators there reacting on the passing of one of theirs as on the sidelines of the November parliamentary session, which opened yesterday. Now, on two occasions, students from the Central African Republic have defended the thesis of their doctorate degree in Cameroon. The event took place in the Douala University here in the littoral region, and it follows on ceased violence that is taking place in the Central African Republic. The candidates appeared before a panel of Cameroonians, as well as Central African or juries from Cameroon, as well as others from the Central African Republic, to defend a thesis on the theme concerning temporal African issues like the economic well-being of the CEMAC region. Now, we talk sports football. Team coach Volker Finke has confirmed that the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon are ready to win the weekend's encounter against the Democratic Republic of Congo. Volker Finke said losing the match is not an option, though a draw would still qualify the squad for the 2015 African Cup of Nations. Meantime, the DRC squad will be arriving in the country tomorrow to begin training ahead of Saturday. The match is going to take place at exactly 3 p.m. this Saturday. Cameroon is still topping the Group D at the moment. Now let's listen to the first vice captain of the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon, Eno Takang Eyong. He was speaking to Roland Akon shortly after the press conference.
It's a great privilege to be here today. I'll quickly answer the first question. You asked about if we have had a view of the Congolese team. Of course, we have the video to the previous match against Ivory Coast, and with the technical staff, we're doing a proper analysis of it, and it's going to help us to prepare for the game on Saturday against Saturday. I think the objective is that we're playing in Cameroon, and the first way is to win the match. That's our focus, and the rest will follow. We just want to win the match. At the end, we can get a positive result, but we're playing home, and the objective is to win.
That's the first vice captain of the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon. Now, team coach Foko Finko, on his part, is certain that the Lions are going to defeat the Democratic Republic of Congo come Saturday, 15th of November. Let's hear him. He was speaking to Roland Akon as well.
Therefore, I would say in this team, there are some options. It's not true that on the bench there's no quality. And this is also, I think, this is also the spirit of this team, that each player knows I can help, I can get something to the team, but also it's possible they can win without me. This is a little bit our idea, that each player is very, very important, and each player, we need the key players. But also, if there are two key players who are injured, we are going with a strong team and a good spirit. That's my answer.
And in news out of Cameroon, activists in Germany are saying that suicide is illegal, but some patients who are terminally ill are pushing for the law to be liberalized. Now, a person's right to die is a sensitive as well as controversial subject in Germany as we speak. Let's take a look at a man whose wife took the matter into her own hands with the Dutch Welle TV.
Fridtjof Munstaar says this is exactly where his recently deceased wife wanted to be buried, in a peaceful forest rather than a traditional graveyard. Dahl helped his wife take her own life after a long and painful illness. He is reluctant to talk too much about it. She did not die a peaceful death.
At the end, she was pleading to die. It was horrible.
Before she died, Sabine Munstaar told us she was suffering from ALS, an incurable neurological disorder. She spoke openly of her desire to eventually take her own life once the pain became unbearable.
I don't want to die in a bed somewhere. Even a dog can be put to sleep if it's suffering. But a human being is denied that right.
She couldn't seek the relief she wanted from a doctor. So she and her husband found someone on the internet who had experience helping people to take control of their death with the aid of a lethal cocktail. Her husband hopes that other people will not have to resort to the internet for help in the future.
We need to have doctors trained for this. And it has to be legalized. People who are really in a bad way, not kids with broken hearts, of course, nothing like that, but people who've suffered so much, like my wife, need to be given the opportunity to end their lives with competent assistance.
But the widower fears that policymakers could end up making it even more difficult for sick people to take.
And still in news out of Cameroon, €6 is the amount of money that web fans would have to pay to listen to music on popular websites. YouTube has introduced a popular video platform that is called YouTube Music Key just for its users. Let's have the details once again with the Dutch Welle TV.
About 1 billion people every month watch a video on YouTube, and many of them are attracted by music videos. Watching them costs nothing. And if you have the right software, you can even download the accompanying audio file. That's basically the same idea behind YouTube's Music Key, except that there's no advertising, and in exchange, you pay a monthly subscription. Here in Germany, nearly 23% of music sales come from digital sources on the internet. About 18% of them are downloads, and almost 5% come from music streaming services. CDs still account for the bulk of music sales at 69%. But Germany's Music Industry Trade Association estimates that 4 years from now, streaming will account for 36%, while income from records and music CDs will drop to less than half of sales. Vinyl records have long been outmoded, and it won't be long before CDs look just as old-fashioned. But platforms that sell digital downloads also look set to lose custom to streaming services.
An innovation there by YouTube administrative staff are saying that it is an attempt to challenge its competitors. They're bringing us to the end of this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinox Television. Viewers, we thank you so much for joining us. Until we meet again, goodbye.